Hey, it's Harrison again. Okay, so I'm putting my phone down. I don't have a tripod yet, but I'm gonna buy one. So I'm putting my phone down just like this, and then I'm gonna talk now. Yeah, I am gonna get a tripod because, yeah, it's not too expensive, and I have my eye on one, and I just have to buy it, and then I have to eventually go and pick it up in the store, and that's fine. I have to buy it, and it looks like a week. But yeah, anyway, so hello, what's up? Uh, yeah, once I buy this tripod, I have an idea of how I want to record my YouTube videos, and you'll see what I mean. But in the meantime, uh, yeah. Anyway, so hi, what's up? Um, I felt I wanted to talk about this. I don't have an agenda. I'm gonna just ramble because I feel like I want to ramble. Um, so So I felt pretty lonely today. I had a good night last night. I went to this downtown queer men's event, and it's hosted by a guy who I met recently, and I got a good vibe from him. So I thought, okay, so he's cool, so maybe his events are cool, and his events were really cool. He's a great facilitator, and it was 6 people, including me, so a perfect intimate number. And he rented out this dance studio, this ballet studio. So it's in this National School of Ballet, very fancy, lots of classical music playing when I entered. And then the girls, mostly girls, finished their dance and they exited. And then I went in and I saw him and he went in. And anyway, and then the 6 of us sat on the floor for the most part. And the theme was friendship this week. Every week is a different theme. And it was really good. It was really nice to share my experiences with friendship, because I think that's a strong point for me, actually. And then just to hear their thoughts and share my thoughts, and lots of people really appreciated what I had to share. They really got a lot of what I had to share, so I felt really good about that. I was like, yay, I'm contributing to society. That's how I felt. So I felt good about that, and then just this morning I felt really depressed. I felt really lonely and depressed this morning. I think in part because it's like, okay, well now the feeling has faded of that connection with the group. Now the feeling has faded, and I was just alone in the house, and my dad was out, and my mom was out, and I just felt alone. And lately I've had this really regimented, what's the word? It's like I'm not doing much new. I'm doing the same things over and over. So the house is kind of messy, and there's specific parts that I will rest in. So like in the family room, there's this one green rocking chair, and I rest on that. And then like we have a couch, but the couch is full of clothes, and we have a table, but the table has stuff on it. So then I don't use the table or the couch, right? I guess I could, but I don't. So there's this rocking chair, or there's what I call the exercise room. Sometimes I lie down like on the floor in the exercise room. We have a big yoga mat there. But yeah. Sometimes I'm on the computer, or there's like one of 4 positions. the rocking chair, the exercise room, my mom's office, which is now my office room, and I do my computer work there, or my bedroom where I sleep. I'm in my bed most of the time. There's a chair there, but I don't really use it that much. So it's like these well-defined grooves, it's one of these 4 places all the time. And I think I'm going crazy. Like I think what's happening is I have a need for like constant newness, maybe is what it is. And I feel like I'm not getting that in these same places all the time. And I have this vision that if I lived in my own space, then I would just be able to rearrange the furniture whenever I wanted. I would go buy plants when I wanted, and then I would have this, I envision a big open space, and I could put a futon there and sleep there tonight, and the next night I'll sleep in my bedroom. Or if it's a wide open space, I can set up anything. I could set up a little tent, like, I don't know, just fun, cute things. You just explore and try things out, I could do yoga on that space. I could do Tai Chi in that space. But I live with my parents, and I just don't know. I don't have my preference honed in on how I want to navigate that. Like, because it's a lot of their stuff. I could clean their stuff to create more space. I actually could. They would protest a little bit, but they would be okay with it. But I just feel like even if I did that, it wouldn't make me very happy. Because it wouldn't make me very happy because today, like I'm saying, I felt lonely, and so I think whatever actions I take, I want to bring it. I want the actions to bring me closer to connection. So I know that I need to clean the toilet. It's quite disgusting. It smells bad. It's really bad. I need to clean the toilet. But that has nothing to do with connecting with people. So I'm kind of just like, whatever. And then because I can't connect with people, then I will go play a video game to try to distract myself from the loneliness feeling. But I guess, but it's like if you're lonely either way, maybe you just clean the toilet. Like I think because cleaning the toilet's harder for me. Like playing a video game and numbing out is kind of easy. That's like a well-grooved, like I've been talking about, this kind of like well-established. I just think the term well-grooved makes sense to me. I hope that makes sense to you. It's like you have this groove and you just keep walking the same groove over and over, and it gets in deeper, and it's kind of like, I know this path. I've done it 5 million times. So the video game distraction is just a well-grooved thing in my brain. And it's difficult for me to do something new, like clean the toilet. I've done that before, but not many times in my life. Honestly, I've cleaned a toilet less than 10 times in my life. I'm working on it. I'm going to get better at it. And and because it's effort, then my brain's kind of like, it's effort, and who cares? It's not bringing closer connection, so why even do it? Why spend the effort? Why spend the energy if it's not going to do anything for you? Something like that. As I say that, I'm a little bit motivated to clean the toilet now. But anyway, but all that aside, I don't know. I'm just free flow rambling here. But all that aside, this connection need is really important to me. I was gonna write this in my journal. So I wrote in my journal I think I wrote one work, one play, one connect. So one work means like pay your bills. Okay, good. That's your work. Or you did the laundry. Okay, good enough. Or you swept the steps. Okay, good enough. Like one work. And then I put one play. Play is anything that you find fun, right? Dance, call a friend. You can masturbate. That's fun to me sometimes. whatever it is, One work, one play, and then one connect is like you have to talk to your neighbor. You have to call a friend. Hopefully you're going to an event. Like there needs to be some kind of connection. And lately the connection thing has been really tough for me. I think I've talked about this a little bit in some of my other videos. But what happened is that when I was around 20, 21, I don't remember exactly, my parents separated. And so we went from, and I'm an only child, so we went from a family to kind of like a V, if this makes sense. Instead of a triangle, it's a V. Mom connected to Harrison, dad connected to Harrison, but not mom and dad connected to each other. And this separation broke up the whole family, right? So we're no longer a family. I'm in this two-pair thing, right? With my mom, with my dad. And I'm taking a break from my relationship with my mom because it was very difficult for me. She was kind of overbearing growing up, and she did the best she could, but it was difficult for me, and I had a lot of needs unmet, and just certain ways my mom behaves reminds me of my childhood, and then that's just too difficult for me. So I told her I'd like to take a break, and she actually said yes. She understood. I didn't tell her the details. I just told her, because there's lots of stuff you do that trigger me. I said it in a more in-depth conversation, but that's the short version. And she said, I understand, let's do that. And I said, okay. She said, I'll do whatever you need. And that's what I needed. I needed space from her. Anyway, so now that I have space from her, I am wondering about family connection because I don't have a family anymore. I have just these, like I said, these two pairs, Harrison with mom, Harrison with dad. And so I feel like I'm lonely very often, and I have a lot of memories of when I was younger. I was connected, and every once in a while I'd be separate, right? I'm connected, but it's annoying to be on the bus, you know. But I'm connected because I'm part of this family, somewhat dysfunctional family, but it's a family, and it could be much worse. Definitely could be much worse. So I'm part of this family, and then every once in a while, you know, something happens, or I'm out for whatever a small amount of time. But it's like, but I know where I belong. I know I belong with my family. I felt back then very secure and confident in that. But then since the separation, it's flipped. Now I'm disconnected, and every once in a while I find connection, right? Now I'm disconnected, and then I'm like desperate searching for events, which I talked about in another video. You know, I found a Tai Chi event. I found a pickleball event. I found a LGBT men's support group event. I found a dysfunctional family meetings event. I found an intimate relating contra event. I found and I can just go on, honestly. I found a dance thing. I could go on about different places that I've explored. It's like I'm trying to search for family. That's what it is. It's like I'm like this lost orphan child. I feel like I don't belong. I feel like everyone, I know this is not necessarily true, but it feels like everyone's connected. Everyone's part of this connected circle, and I'm just out of the circle. And I'd like to be part of the circle, but I don't know how, and I'm afraid to be, and a few other things. So I feel like I'm out of the circle, and I keep trying to get into it with these different events. And I think one of the things I really want is just to feel like I belong as a default. And I don't know I'm not sure how to meet that need, because I think it's a very big, I perceive it to be a very big and difficult need to meet. You know, with my therapist, you just pay her and she gives you therapy at the end. And my naturopath, I pay her and she helps in the end. But with belonging, it's like, this is not something that money can buy, right? It has a lot to do with how you're forging connections. It's an art form, and it's a dance, and that is not fully a money-based thing. And then when I don't have this sense of belonging and connection, which is my default, like I've been saying, then I get depressed, and life gets very difficult, and then I don't want to clean the toilet, right? And and I had a very hard time applying for my job, which I don't have a job yet, but I applied because I forced myself that day, which is cool. I did that, and then hopefully I'll get it working in a kitchenware store for minimum wage, but that's not important. What's important is just, I guess, something to spend my time on, and to make connections with people, and to gain more confidence in working, and also, I make some money, better than nothing. And I guess I just keep coming back to this theme of loneliness, because like I said, I feel disconnected, and sometimes I get connection, but other times I'm disconnected. And even when I was a kid, like I know I just finished saying I was connected when I was younger, but even when I was like in grade 1, grade 2, I remember I went up to the girls. I didn't go up to the guys, because the guys were always playing soccer, like always. Like that's literally, they didn't play basketball, they didn't play tag, it was literally always soccer. I don't know what's up with that, but anyway, I didn't want to play that. That didn't feel connecting to me. Like I wasn't interested in that. So I went to the girls, and they were playing teacher, which is so funny when I think about it. You play teacher at recess, and then you go indoors to actually, the teacher teaches, and then you go back out and you play teacher. But, so I wanted to play teacher with these girls, grade 1 and grade 2, I don't know what grade it was. And that's what I was doing. So I sat there, we had a play structure, and I sat there in the like underneath section, you know what I mean? On the first floor, and then I sat cross-legged in the gravel, and there was this girl pretending to teach us, and we all went, yeah, I got it. Oh, teacher, I have a question. And we just role-played. Oh my God. And then I just felt not connected to that group for some reason. Like I don't know. I just felt, I was like, this is dumb and fake. I don't remember what I thought. I just didn't feel connected. So I left. Like and then the teacher looked away, or she was like, recess time. Oh my God, we had recess during recess. Anyway, just a memory when I remember that. We had recess time, and then I walked away, and then I just, and that was it. That was done. And no one ever saw me again. And I just continued wandering like a lost puppy, Anyway, so my point with that story is that um, I've had this theme of not feeling like I belong to a group. I had that when I was younger, and I've had that now. And this has happened, this is like the third or fourth time in my life. I don't mean literal times, I mean like chapters, like separate chapters in my life. This is the third or fourth chapter where it's a major theme where I'm searching in all these events, searching for myself, you know, like where do I belong? Where do I belong? What kind of events do I belong to? And the difference now is that I found much more belonging than before. So I used to go to, for example, board game events, and I didn't feel very connected to the people there. I loved the board games, that was kind of fun, but I also wanted to connect with the people. But a lot of the people there were there for the games, not the people. Believe it or not, they were like, I'm not knocking anyone. They were these really competitive, competitive nerdy guys who were there to crush you. You know, I'm here to win the game. So they're not there for friendship and connection. So I learned that, and I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm not in the right place, but I love board games, and so I kept going, even though the people themselves, which is what I really wanted. I mean, I wanted both. I wish I had both, but I got the games and not so much the people. And anyway, so that was the school chapter of my life, and then that chapter ended when I went back. I was at residence, so it was easier for me to just like walk over to a board game cafe, and then that chapter ended when I moved back home. I was only at residence for half of my degree, and I moved back home, and then my parents separated, and then that began the new chapter, and then here is this new chapter right now in my life, like literally right now, this one, and I'm going back downtown still. It's a lot further, but I'm making the commute sometimes, like just like yesterday, for events I find worth it. And then the difference is that I'm more connected than I used to be. Like I said, the board game thing, kind of, sort of, but not really. Like, the event was fun, but the people, have to move my phone. but, but now, like, my dance class, I feel much more connected in my dance class. I'm making better connections with people. I'm talking with people. I feel more open. I feel safer. I feel more myself. And I'm exchanging Facebook with these people. Like, it's just unfolding a lot better, is my point. It's unfolding a lot better. It's a lot nicer. Yeah, I'm using that word a lot. I'm feeling more connected to people. But then I come home and I feel lonely, right? So this loneliness feeling is very difficult for me. It's very difficult to feel. I've had it for many years. I've had it since a little kid in different ways, which is the story I just told with the teacher thing. Just checking to make sure my phone's still on. Okay. Making sure it's still recording. Yeah, and I guess I'm putting in a lot of effort to try to figure out how to meet this need of loneliness that I've had my whole life. And I've since done some meditations and research and whatever, and I realized that this is a human epidemic. It's a big intergenerational pattern, maybe a little bit more for some cultures than others. Everyone struggles though, and Chinese culture definitely struggles with loneliness. Definitely, that's a big deal. So I just mean intergenerationally. And then just this crazy article that universally all beings struggle with separateness. So loneliness, separateness is kind of similar. So when you go to extraterrestrials up the dimensions, even extraterrestrials can sometimes also suffer from loneliness, because you can feel unseen, or all your coworkers can disagree with you on things, and you can feel not understood. Like, loneliness can still happen, even when you're a higher dimensional being. So that was interesting to discover. That's a whole bunch of YouTube and people I've been looking at, because extraterrestrials is one of my interests to research. I don't know anything about it myself. I just listen to people talk about it. Anyway, though, yeah. So this loneliness hurts a lot, and it's such a big wound. And I would love to make my way back into what I felt when I was a kid, which is that connection with my parents, and sometimes separateness, but mostly connection. And I would love like a version 2 of that. Like, that was great, but there were some dysfunctional elements, and so I'd like to revamp it so that it felt, so I didn't have to hurt myself as much. growing up. Like, for example, I did all the schoolwork I was told to do, which I didn't want to because I was bad at math and it just felt really painful for me to sit there and study, right? So like connection, that's a new age connection, that's actually like more fully what I want to do. Less suffering. Like I just have a higher standard, you know, I have a higher standard. So I hope to make my way back into connection, a feeling of default connection. And if I have separateness sometimes, that's fine, you know, like I don't, today everyone's out of the house and I feel kind of sad, but that's okay because, you know, later today we're all going to hang out. Like, you know, this feeling of connection as a default. I would love that instead of where I am right now, which is default separation. So, and I've just been struggling with default separation a lot for several years now. I've only felt it this year because the years before this, I was doing a lot of like health nutrition stuff. So I was so focused on that, I wasn't noticing loneliness. But now I'm noticing loneliness a lot. So I guess the universe is telling me that now I'm ready to move more into connection. So I'm trying, I'm going for things, I'm trying to meet people, I'm trying to talk to people, I'm trying to find connection here. Anyway, so I'm repeating myself, but I would like to go into default connection. However that is, whatever that looks like. I don't care how it looks, I just want it to feel right? So default connection, feeling close to people, feeling like anytime I feel lonely, I can just, you know, walk next door or maybe in the same house as me or whatever the heck. And then we can talk together, we can play a game together. I use the term house cat. I was telling my other friends this. House cat just means let me be in the same space as you and fall asleep on the floor. It doesn't have to be on the floor. Maybe we'll read a book. You know, you're on one side of the couch, I'm on the other side of the couch. But house cat, you know, house cat. Just in my own corner, doing my own thing, but we're doing it together. So, you know, house cat mode in connection. Yeah. And so that's what I really want. I just want to feel connected at default. And I think if I did, it would make, it's because it's one of the biggest needs that I have. And so everything else would be so much easier if I had that. Like cleaning the toilet would be easier and learning, I'm trying to read my G1 license book. Like reading the G1 would be easier and cooking would be easier. Like, you know, when I'm in connection, it's easier to go off on my own to do a thing and then come back to connection. As opposed to now, I feel like I'm just bracing and I'm struggling against this loneliness feeling every day. I feel like it's a barrage. I feel like I'm being assaulted with this. And so it's hard to do the tasks of everyday life when my default is being hurt, if that makes sense. And it's not a physical hurt, of course, but it's a connection hurt. It's a loneliness hurt. So I guess that's depression. So it's just harder for me to do things when I feel this baseline of loneliness. And so that's what I'm focused my attention on. Like, okay, so fix the loneliness thing. Like, you know, how do you permanently fix it? But like find a way that you can get the need met more consistently or something, you know, like whatever it is, a boyfriend, I don't care what, you know, but just find the need consistently, relatively consistently, and then everything else will open up from there because the biggest thing that you're wanting right now is connection. So try to find it as a more lasting, permanent thing. So yeah, that's the ramble. That's the ramble. And it's giving me some other ideas from some other things. But anyway, so that's good. That's all I wanted to say. In the next, hopefully by next video, but in the next 1 or 2 videos, I'm gonna have a tripod, and my format's gonna look a little different. You'll see. As I do this strange experiment. I don't want to call it strange. As I do this experiment of randomly talking out loud about things I'm facing. Okay, thanks so much. I will talk to you later. Bye. End button.